Everyone, welcome to the show where I talk about movies, TV shows, mostly the things that annoy me. Today I'm joined by a very special guest who talks about horror all the time. Please welcome to the channel, Craven Something Scary.
Hey, what's up, Shay?
Hey Craven, how are you?
I'm good, man. Nice to be here.
So, today we're basically just going to be talking about a few Scream 7 theories.
Yeah.
Also, I was going to try and help. We could try and talk about some more stuff before we get into the Stu stuff, because that's the stuff everyone wants.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say the main thing which I'd probably want to see in Scream 7 is just less of Sam. I don't know why, but for some reason she just irritates me.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah. Um, well, it's interesting because with all the strike and stuff going on, right? All these movies are on hold that everyone's working on. So it'll be really interesting to see, as far as Sam and Tara. And honestly, the whole core four, of course, I'm not as concerned about Jasmine and well,
Chat.
Chad, yeah, Chad and Mindy, but because frankly, they're not quite as busy as Sam and Tara or Jenny and Melissa. So, well, I'm real interested to see like how much time they'll be because the rumors are now out there that Jenna may not be in it very often, which as I've talked about many times on the channel. I've said she could be the opening kill, possibly if they can't have her for very long. But we'll have to wait and see. But as far as Sam goes, I was not impressed with Sam on Scream 5 with the character. And when 6 came around, Shay, I actually she grew on me in 6. I thought her performance as a character was much better than 5. But having said that, I'll throw out my first one for what I really want to see, and that is Nev Campbell. I want Sydney Prescott back, man. I want her back at 7, and not just as like a glorified cameo like 5. I want to see her have a substantial storyline, at least 50% of the story concurrent with Sam and Tara if they continue to go that route. So for me, it's having Sydney back is my first one.
Yeah, well, it seems like that is what a lot of people want, and I'm pretty sure that, like, for a while that's what it seemed like it was going to be, because, like, Scream 7 was under the working title Blackbird for a while, and a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
thought that meant that it was just going to be like a Sydney solo movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that that's probably just not going to happen, and it's just some
Yeah.
random tagline, because, of course, we now know it's set around Christmas and all of that, so.
Yeah, exactly, man. I personally like there's a part of me being a legacy fan, of course, I've got a lot more years on you. And so I was there when Scream 1 came out in theaters and you know, I'm a OG fan from the very beginning, and so for me, there's a part of me that would love to see what I would call a throwback Scream movie, where it is Sidney Prescott front and center, Gail Weathers back like she was in the first 3 movies, and the fourth one, I guess, too, but especially the first 3 movies, and it's just like a throwback classic Scream movie, but I know that probably won't happen right now. But I am excited about Christopher Landon being the director, and after having spoke with him on about a month ago on the channel, it just cemented all of my excitement into to knowing that I feel he's the right guy. So whatever we come up with for 7, or they come up with, I feel like it's going to be the best movie of this current trilogy is what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, well, of course, with Christopher Landon directing, he made, like, Freaky and what else
Happy
was there?
Death
There was
Day.
the Happy Death Day films, and
Yeah.
I definitely feel that he'll bring a bit more of the like current movie fans towards it. like Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barrera, and all of them have done. But I definitely agree with you. I do just want a regular like Sydney movie. I mean, maybe they could just somehow write that Dewey survived or something. Like he survived. He's fine. He's just living in his trailer, you know?
Yes. He's been recovering all this time. And
he's in the hospital in a coma or something.
Man, I tell you what, I'm not going to lie to you, buddy. I wouldn't hate that at all. I admit, do you know, like when Scream 5, I don't watch Scream 5 very often. It's the least watched of the movies for me personally. But I will say this, when I do watch it, I fast forward the entire Dewey death scene. I do not watch it, man. It gets me angry. And I'm like, I'm not going to watch this happen to Dewey, because I have to tell you, just a pet peeve real quick. When he takes them to the elevator, remember Richie and everybody, and then he stops and he's like, you got to shoot him in the head.
Kill him. You know, I got to make sure he's dead.
Yeah, you got to make sure he's dead. You got to shoot him in the head. And I'm thinking to myself, Dewey, number one, after everything he's been through, he would not have just forgotten to shoot them in the head when they was shooting them. I just don't believe it, especially with Roman. Remember Roman?
Roman Bridger, director. And brother.
Roman?
Especially with the whole like thing under his armpit or something, like people say how he just faked his death.
Yeah. Yes. I'm telling you, man. So anyway, I won't go on and on about it. But yeah, I fast forward that scene now. But if they somehow found a way to get Dewey back, bro, I'm good. I mean, I'm good. I'm all about the legacy cast. So absolutely, man, that would be great.
Yeah, I'd say the thing that annoyed me most about that scene is how they say that Amber killed him. There's no way that like 5 foot something like her actress has got anything against David Arquette, even in his like age now. She's got nothing up against him.
Yeah. She's like all of 5'2", and I don't know, man. I mean, you saw the damage that happened there. I mean, we're talking about literally gutting from groin to sternum, as Stu said to do it in Scream 1.
How do you gut someone?
You take a knife and you slit him from groin to sternum.
Hey, it's called tact, you fuck rag.
And I'm like, you've got this going on. You've got body. I mean, not to be gross, but you got stuff coming out, hitting the ground. You've got all. I'm with you, man. I never bought that as Amber. I still don't. And I don't have a problem being in the minority on that. If that's the case, it doesn't bother me. That's just how I feel. And of course, there's one particular character, and I won't. I'll wait till you take us there. But I have an idea of who that might have been. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense as to the whole subplot in Scream 6 with how people thought Sam was the killer. She has a bit more height than
she does.
So she could have been the killer there, but it's very debatable because she was in the elevator, wasn't she?
Right. She was in the elevator, so. But you're right, though, as far as like the height wise, or, that's another reason why I was hoping, and I had predicted, I was wrong on the prediction, which I don't mind being wrong on predicting killers because that means it's a surprise. But I was hoping Liv. Remember Liv? She was the one who got shot in the head at the end by Amber. She was, remember her? Yeah, she was Chad's girlfriend. She was tall. She had the height and build. Like if she had been revealed as one of the killers, I would have bought that. Like I could have accepted her killing Dewey much better than Amber, right? I mean, I've even said, why didn't they flip it? Why didn't they have Richie kill Dewey and let Amber be in the hospital? So Dewey saves Amber instead of Richie. And then, because see, that would have been more believable, having Richie be the killer. I'd been like, okay, yeah, I'll accept that.
Well, yeah, that makes a lot more sense because, like, Richie's like tall, like Jack White's quite tall. Like, he could have gone with Dewey to kill Ghostface. Like, maybe just hold them down or unmask them.
Yeah,
But
totally.
it just goes in the elevator, which now that I
Yeah.
think about it, that is quite suspicious.
It is. It very much is. And you notice how whenever you watch it, you've probably seen it, but if you, just in case, when you watch that scene, of course, again, I skip it, but when you do, if you do watch it, notice how Richie continually looks back when Amber was shot, quote Amber,
Yeah,
was shot and was on the ground, and he's looking back like he's very concerned, like he's really
yeah, that's his
concerned.
girlfriend.
Yes, exactly. It's his girlfriend, or maybe someone that he's a big admirer of who could be orchestrating this whole thing. We'll see.
Yeah, well, we should probably get into that question now, to stew or not to stew. So the main question is to stew or not to stew, because you know there's a lot of problems with him not being in the film because it upset long-time Scream fans, but it also would annoy new Scream fans who probably don't like the original as much as they like the new ones because there's something wrong with them, but still.
True. Yeah, man. I mean, I guess it kind of boils down to, you're not going to be able to please all of the fandom all the time, right? So
Yeah,
when it comes to Stu, it's you've got passionate folks on both sides of it, and I look at it like it's just it's time to do it. They've alluded to Stu being potentially live through a lot of little breadcrumbs and things, and I've done a bunch of videos. You've probably seen them on
yeah,
clues for Stu, right? Stu clues videos. So they're in these movies. They really are. If you're paying attention, they're there. So in my mind, Shay, it's time to pay off on it now. It's the third movie. You've teased it for a couple of movies now. So let's go ahead and do it, especially if Nev is back. I do believe she's back in Scream 7. Um, got a real good, credible source that is telling me that she's going to be there. They've always been right. And I'm going to go ahead. It's not official, but I do believe she's going to be back. And so if Sydney's back, it's the perfect time to do it. You've got Sydney there, Gail, probably Kirby. The legacy cast is all there. So, if they're going to bring back the core four and they're going to have Sydney, then I hope we get like at least a 50-50 story. Like, in other words, half is Sam and Tara and core four, and at least half is with Sydney. So
yeah.
anyway, that's what I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking that if this is the movie to finally do it, to bring him back.
Well, I mean, they kind of set up what I wanted for the whole Stu return thing in the last one with like all the old Ghostface robes and all of that.
Yeah.
But then they just didn't bring him in there, and instead just basically ripped off the second Scream movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Scream 2.0. Sometimes you hear it said. Yeah, that's very true, and which also kind of leads me to another thing about what we want to see in Scream 7, and for me, it's to not follow Wes Craven's template. Wes has already made those movies, and they're really good. They're fantastic. So I hope that we don't get a Scream 3 type of film where they're mirroring it again. I don't mind homages, like right where you pay homage, you tip the hat. That stuff's cool. Easter eggs, that's great. But I'm talking about literally like like you just said, 6. We have the same killer, but it's a male instead of a female. But that's it. It's Debbie Salt 2.0. So I hope that we do get some a more original, unique story for 7. That they're not just following Wes Craven's template.
Yeah, well, if they do some kind of like Hollywood thing, they should at least follow what the fans are saying, where they should do like, I don't know, Netflix documentary kind of thing, where they can bring all the original characters back. Maybe even bring Martha Meeks back, played by Heather Matarazzo. But like,
Yeah.
That's where you could bring a Stu in there. Say he wants to finish the job, and I don't know, maybe introduce their mum, Christina Carpenter. We've never even actually heard her before. We haven't even heard her voice on the phone.
No,
She's never even called her kids to ask if they're okay after they were almost brutally murdered.
that's right. Exactly. Completely a no-show mother. In 5 and 6, and there's a part of me that thinks we're never going to meet her. I'm really beginning to wonder because I thought we would see her in 6 for sure, and that she would be a part of the story potentially, and could be a red herring and all that. But she not only did we not see her in 6, remember what they said about her? She basically cut off Tara and Sam, and they cut each other, like not even talking right now. So it's like moving further away from seeing her, not closer. So I don't know, man. I mean, it could happen. They could do it in 7, but I'm not. I have to say, I'm not optimistic that we're ever going to meet Christina. I just, because parents in the think about the Scream franchise. Parents really aren't present in these movies very rarely. I mean,
Yeah,
we, and of course, Debbie Salt. That was a little bit too late when she showed up for
yeah.
being
I
a
mean,
parent.
pretty sure it was even like a like set decoration where like it showed that like Stu's parents were like very distant, where it said like we'll be back
Yeah,
late or something on like a fridge magnet or something.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. We'll be back, at the end of the weekend or something.
Yeah,
Be safe, whatever. So yeah, even then, they're nowhere around. And now we did see, obviously Sydney's dad. We saw him in a little in 1, and
yeah,
again in
Billy's dad
3.
as well.
And Billy's dad was in. That's right.
By a
So
wolf.
there's a little bit here and there, but but we've seen no parents in the last 2 movies that I can recall. Um, we didn't see
Oh
Amber.
no, well there was Wes's mum, but I'm
Well,
still
that's
annoyed
true.
at that death. So
Right, that's true. You're right. We had Judy Hicks in
yeah,
5, so I
and
guess
I
so
guess
that yeah,
technically Heather Matarazzo as well.
true. We got a little bit snippet of her in 5 also. So, but tiny role for her. I mean it was a cameo, honestly.
Yeah,
Um, and and then Judy was more prominent, obviously, in 5. But other than that, like we never saw Amber's family. Richie, Amber, we never saw them. We never saw. In 6, we didn't see anybody. Of course, they're in New York, so they're not in Woodsboro there. So that could explain some of that. But I mean, personally, if it was up to me, I would bring Christina in just to have her there as a suspect in all of this in some way, or victim. Honestly, she could be a good victim. So, but and plus, if you think about this, if they bring back the core 4 plus Gail and Kirby and Sydney, we're at 7 people. And that's not including the new cast members that they have to bring in to be victims. Somebody's got to
yeah,
get killed. So they got to bring all these new people in so they can kill them and then make them suspects. Somebody's got to be Ghostface. So we're talking about, how big is this cast going to be? Is it going to be, it was 14 in 6. So, I can't see going beyond 14. It gets to be too many people. You can't, develop characters enough. So anyway, all of that said, I'm rooting for Christina to be there. I just don't think she will be. It's just my feeling. I don't know. Could be wrong.
yeah. Well, I mainly see 2 ways where they bring Christina in. One of them is actually with the Scream video game, which they announced, because I did say that was going to be a prequel. So I
Yep.
don't know, maybe have it be the original film, but from Christina's point of view, have her be there at the party, have her just like stalking Sydney or something. Oh, you can even say that she was the ghost face that jumped out of the toilet to try and scare her.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You could.
Mm.
Because, that was definitely, there was no knife in their hand. It was clearly a prankster, but maybe it was. Yeah, Christina could have been angry, jealous of Sydney, and Yeah, man, that's a good. I like that idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, or maybe since they did say she's in sunny London,
Yep.
and it is set around Christmas time, so maybe have it set in London, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because
That
it
would
would
be
be
awesome. It'd be great. Yeah, man. International Scream. I'm all for it.
I mean, there was like a Scream fan film where it was like Spanish or something, so
Sure. Why not? Yeah. Because you can go to they can make anywhere soundstage. They can make anything and everywhere, any place they want to be in a soundstage, and
yeah,
the magic of Hollywood and filmmaking. And so even if they didn't go to London and to film, it could still be set there in the movie for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all they've really got to do. I mean, it's just current day London, the Scream franchise anyway, some random guy with a knife, so
Hmm.
um, I kind of feel that they should actually just either bring Christina in as just a suspect or have her there as a killer with Stu.
Okay.
Because if Stu comes back, you could say, I don't know, maybe try and pull some random like retcon where like she helped in the original killings or something, and
Ooh.
then like she was a hidden killer. I don't know, maybe she was the one who killed Dewey.
There you go. Just make her tall. Make her taller than 5'2", please. Please hire an actress that's got a little more height. That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah, man. I like that idea though. That's I sure that's got potential. Because he knew obviously Christina was around the same age as Stu. They were in high school together. You would think they were, you know, I mean, we assume she was at the high school there. It's a small town. It's Woodsboro High. There's only indicating there was only one there. So if she lived in Woodsboro, then they should have been in school together. So, and even if they weren't, because obviously Billy was close to her, so I'm sure Stu would have known her either way. So they would have had that connection for a long time now, all these years. So that makes sense, man. You could do it. You could tie that in. You sure could. And I'd be down for it. Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, in the original Scream, the parents obviously have money because they all just live in like mega mansions. So you could say
Yes.
that they're using their power to try and like
Hmm.
track all the remaining victims down. And you could even say that she has a personal vendetta against Sydney because Billy spent all his time with Sydney instead of her,
That's
left her
right.
with a child, and then died.
Yes. Bingo. And who killed him?
Sydney Prescott.
Sydney. That's right. I mean, wow. You took away who was supposed to be, who was the father, right, of my child. And oh, yeah, you got motive all over the place for Christina, big time with Sydney. And if Sydney is indeed back in seven, and I think she is, then you definitely could work that storyline in. And, she's coming back. She's had enough. And now she's messed with her daughters, um, you know, in five, and she wasn't in six, but you could still say she was using that time to plot the plan with Stu to do in seven. So yeah, man, if that was to happen, I would be like, well done. I would like that. Hmm.
I mean, even if she's not the killer, I still want to see at least a bit of bickering between the two
Yeah.
because affair who an affair with the boyfriend, which resulted in a child who's now being hunted by the current killer,
Hmm.
for, who's the boyfriend of like the original victim. So you could definitely have like they were always arguing, and Sydney's very like suspicious
Hmm.
of her just suddenly coming
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, imagine that conversation between Christina and Sydney. I mean, that could get really, really intense. Especially if they have Christina ask. Remember, Amber said she was the town drunk. She was a drunk.
Yeah,
Remember, so you have show Christina having had a few too many, and her loose lips get loose and starts saying stuff. She could get real angry, and it could get pretty intense with that confrontation. So, and if she, like you say, even if she wasn't the killer, she would be a huge suspect, red herring, that we'd be looking at and thinking about. So, yeah, you could definitely write it that way. And that's the cool thing right now, is that we can theorize about so many possible storylines, and it's a fun time. And we can only do this until the movie comes out. Then the theories end because the stories and we're watching it. But between now and then, we can explore so many theories and storylines, and this is one that I think would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming out and joining the channel today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. This has been so much fun, and it was a real pleasure. It's nice to meet you, Shay.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Everyone go check out Craven Softly Scary on YouTube. I'll have a link to him in the description below. Until next time, see you guys.